Let me see what's going on. What do I got here? This'll do it! No second time!
In a land filled with stories, in a land where legends thrive, and the heroes in all their glory are forever kept alive. There's one spectre, one awesome vision that stands above the rest, my friend. He's got one mission. Now it's time to ride again. Red Raider coming at you, riding through the night with the fury of the West Texas wind. Red Raider coming at you, what a beautiful sight. That Texas Tech Red Raider is riding, 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 riding again.
Greetings, Raider Nation. Today we kick off our conference home opener against the number 17 Oklahoma Sooners. Now, this game is not only my personal game of the week, but this is also my game of the year. For after last year's upset in Norman, Oklahoma is going to be looking for blood. And if that's not exciting enough, the fact that it's going to be a very close game and hard fought only makes it even better. Now, Oklahoma is coming off a bye week after a home loss to K-State. And it's kind of ironic now that they're facing us at home after we beat them at home last season and they just lost at home. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. And anyway, Oklahoma hasn't won here since about in 2003. But as we learned in Norman last year, home streaks really don't add up to that much. They don't really count. And plus, Oklahoma hasn't been on a losing streak in several years. So, either way, a streak is going to get broken in this game. But which one? Only time will tell. Not much can be said of Oklahoma than what is already known by most people, which is they are one of the best teams in the Big 12 and the NCAA in general. That much is undeniable. They are a damn good team, which is due in part in their high-powered offense and their defense, which is really good most of the time. Which helped them win a lot of their games during their home win streak. However, since the departure of Ryan Broyles, Landry Jones, the Sooners quarterback, has struggled a lot on throwdowns, shown by him completing only 4 out of 10 during their loss against K-State and 5 out of 16 in their win against UTEP. Now, if that's a problem that will continue to plague the Sooners throughout the season, is largely unknown, but it is a problem right now, and our defense is bound to take advantage of that. Not to mention, Jones is lacking in offensive consistency. But whether or not that is a fault of Jones or not, or is it a fault of the newly rearranged offensive line, or both, I can't personally say it. But even with his inconsistencies, Jones is still very dangerous, as shown by him throwing around 300 yards during the loss against K-State. But whether that zone shows up or the one we saw in week 1 against UTEP, but decide which team wins the game. If it's the UTEP zones, we win. If it's the K-State zones, OU wins. They also have a very iffy running game, at least to me, since they ran about really well against UTEP, but struggled against K-State. But that could just be K-State's defense, but I don't know. And it's also hard for me to put a finger on the offense and the OU in general, seeing how they've only played 3 games this season, and only 2 being FBS teams. And I don't follow them enough to know a lot about them. So it kind of worries me a bit not to know going into this game, because I don't know what to expect at all. But I also like it a whole lot, since it only adds to the thrill of the game. Now, but right now, Tech has the current #1 defense in the country. I'm going to say that right now because odds are I'm probably never going to get to say that again. But whether or not it is deserving of that title will be shown by our upcoming games. Most certainly the one next week. But what is definitely known is that our defense is vastly improved since last year. And we need to get the pressure on Jones very quickly and cause him to force a lot of throws. Not to mention we have our Big 12 Player of the Week, Cornelius Douglas, who should be covering the only receiver in Oklahoma that seems to get things done consistently, Kenny Stills, to help get some interceptions early on to break Landry's composure. And him losing composure here with the Jones, that's not going to be too helpful for Jones. But I noticed something during the K-State game. Sterling Shepard, he's a dangerous as hell target. And we really need to watch out on him during this game because he showed lots of potential when Kenny Stills got shut down. Now, on to Tech's offense. So, Tech's offense looks to be as great as ever, but there are still problems with it. For one, during the Iowa State game, Daggy forced a lot of throws, 2 of which got intercepted and 1 for a touchdown. Now, a lot of those throws he had no business even attempting to make. I mean, sure, obviously has a great defense, and them covering everyone in and intercepting the ball is not too much of a surprise. I mean, they're not an amazing defense, but they're a good defense. They're underrated. Now, Oklahoma has a great line of cornerbacks, which are extremely dangerous. And throwing the coverage against them and starting to force throws, it's not going to end well. It's not going to be pretty at all. But even though he did get intercepted in the Iowa State game, he didn't really affect him too much, if at all. And our defense did a heck of a job stopping them. But we shouldn't rely on our defense to cover our offensive mistakes. It's best to limit them as much as possible. And also, we have a one game, which Oklahoma didn't really see too much of last season with Eric Stevens. And also, unlike last year, we have two new running backs which have shown to be really effective. Deshaun Foster, Cedale Foster, and Kenny Williams, and which, judging by OU's one defense, would just look absolutely horrid this year, showing their about 200 yards rushing UTEP had, and of course K-State just running through them. And OU has not really faced too much of a great quarterback yet as a pass attack. Now, no offense to Klein Collins, he's a really good quarterback, but he's not really known for throwing the ball. He's more of a running quarterback, a la Tim Tebow. But either way, our run can open up our passing game extremely well, which could help in a win over them. This is going to be a very close and hard-fought game that favors OU. Although OU is the favorite going into this game, I still see Tech pulling off the upset. For Tech has video of Oklahoma losing to K-State, and we have tape from OU last year. But that can only do so much. I predict the final score to be about Texas Tech 28 and Oklahoma 21. Now Raider fans, remember, to wear black to today's game. And guns up and Raider power. Wreck 'em, Tech.